Hi guys, it's your girl Lola Loves You, and I'm doing a review on the Janet Jackson documentary. Before you watch this video, please make sure y'all thumbs up, subscribe, and share my videos, and leave a comment. Anyway, I just want to get my Janet Jackson on tonight. Give me a, inspired Janet Jackson look while I'm watching the documentary. Well, it starts off, Janet Jackson is in a car, and she's riding around her hometown, and she saw a mural of her brothers, and she just stopped, and she said she loved it. She started crying, and it was, she was so appreciative to the artist that made the mural. Then her and her brother Randy, they are very close. They went back to their house on Jackson Street. She said the street is not named after them. She said it was always named Jackson Street. So they went in the house reminiscing about really her childhood, but really the Jackson Fives, how it all started. And her father, she said the father, Joe Jackson, started the foundation for the Jacksons. So they were just showing the success of the Jackson Fives. So Janet explains she always wanted a relationship with her father, like a father and daughter relationship, but she never gotten that. The family moved to California after the brothers made it big time in Hollywood. They lived in a 3-acre home. Back then, it was prejudice back then. So a lot of the people in the neighborhood was trying to petition to get them out. Janet Jackson said they was called names, and she only had a few friends, but she really was close to her brothers and sisters. After that, they just showed, the Jackson Five just getting more famous, and the father, being the disciplinary parent of the kids, and, him making them strive to be the best. She also said they had parties at their house. She said everybody was there. Marvin Gaye, Red Fox, even David Bowie was there, and he did something despicable. He offered them, not Janet, but a few of her brothers, party favors. Was a no-no, but the boys said no, thank goodness, because Joe Jackson did not play that. And she said, yeah, they always had parties at their house. Okay, while Janet Brothers was on the road, she was like lonely, and she missed them a lot. She was about to cry when she was talking about that. And so in 1974, I think she said she was about 7. The Jackson Five had a Vegas show, so all of the Jackson family was on the show, and she made her debut. Her and Randy was singing a duet song together, and she said she had a lot of fun on the set. Seeing some things she should, as a child, children shouldn't see. Some of the performers that was on that show, but she said that was her life. Then they got a call for her to audition for Good Times, and the man said she did a wonderful job, in which we all know the iconic role of Penny from Good Times. And so the Jacksons had a in-home studio. So Janet said she had a song in her head one day. She probably was a teenager by this time. And she said she, recorded just a little bit, but she made a mistake and didn't turn it off. And her father heard it. And he told her, he said, "You going to sing?" And she said, "Well, I want to go to college." She wanted to study business law. And he told her, it was like, no. So at this time, she probably about 18, so she signed with A&M Records, and she did 2 albums. Everything was her father was managing everything. By this time, the Jackson Fives, they were older now, so they fired the father. So he was, in charge of everything. Even she said she didn't even want she just wanted to be called Janet, and he put Janet Jackson on her album cover, and he even chose the photo for her album, which she did not like. And so her albums didn't do well at all. Both her 2 first solo albums, they didn't do good at all. And so this time it was making Janet think like she needed to be more independent, and she was 18 years old. So Janet needed an escape plan. So she decided she wanted to get married to James DeBarge from the DeBarge family. And so they knew each other as teenagers, but they would date. She started dating him when she was 16, and she got married to him when she was 18. And so his uncle was a pastor, a preacher in Michigan. So they went up to Michigan and got married secretly. They eloped, and they got married. And she said that on her wedding night, she went and They went to a hotel, and he said he was going to be right back. And she said 4 hours passed and he was a no-show. So she was in a hotel by herself. And then she said it's something about her and her past relationships. She was attracted to, she didn't know that she was, but she was attracted to men that had an addiction to party favors. So Janet Jackson joined the cast of Fame. She didn't want to do it. She said she only did it for her father. She's in this brand new marriage. They only lasted for a year. With her marriage, with her husband addiction, she had to leave. Painful memories. It made her cry. She had to stop talking about it. Going out in the street every night looking for him to find out where he at, because he out there strung out and things like that. From them fighting over fighting over party favors, trying to get the party favors from him, but he's in his addiction very strongly. So she ended her marriage and she went back home. Her father is in control of her career again. He's still always in control of her career. And then her and Michael, she said once Thriller came out, her and Michael wasn't as close anymore. She said she don't know why. She said they just wasn't close no more. Then she had to fire her father. She said she wanted her own independence, and she had to fire her father. Now let's get into the secret child allegations. Well, at the time when she was married, Janet said, and the time when she was on Fame, she had gotten onto birth control. Now, back then, people know birth control can make you gain weight. So she was gaining weight, and she said, that's when the rumors just spiraled. Like, even her sister, Rebe, is so beautiful. Her sister was on there saying, they even said even her child was Janet Jackson's secret child. And then they said Randy's daughter was Janet Jackson's secret child. So it's just a rumor, y'all. Janet Jackson does not have a secret child, never had a secret child. I don't even think she was ever pregnant, allegedly. Even from this documentary, it seems like she never had a child. But it's really a soft subject for her, for the media to make that rumor up like that. Even Debbie Allen said that was just a normal rumor everybody was talking about back then, that Janet Jackson had this secret child, and it was false. So after, she got a divorce, she fired her father, her and her mother went to a Jimmy Jam show. The producers, they was with Morris Day. They was on the road with Prince, and she went to one of their shows, and she wanted them to produce her. So they kind of gave her a sound. And Paula Abdul, I did not know she was a LA Lakers cheerleader at the time, and she did the choreography for the cheerleaders, and she liked I think one of the Jacksons knew her from her choreography, and that's how Janet Jackson chose her to teach her how to dance, really. Well, Janet knew how to dance, but, to give her good, the Janet, Miss Jackson, if your nasty dance move, in my opinion. So that's how she got Jimmy Jam, and then she had Paula Abdul on her team, and that's how the Control album from 1985 came out. Sold 14 million copies, and she made her own. She stepped out of her brother's shadow. She never really was in her brother's shadows, but she really became Janet Jackson by herself, the independent artist by herself. Okay, with the success of her new album, she in 86 probably, she met a guy named Renee through a friend of a friend. A friend came over her house, invited him over and said, you want to meet Janet Jackson? She met him, and the two hit it off. First day, people knew they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and then 1987, he popped the question, and they got married. And as Janet Jackson said, it was kind of different from when she was married to James, because she said Renee proposed, had a ring and everything, where James did none of that. So she was married, and now with the success of Control, Janet started going out of the country, Barcelona, Spain, and things like that. And on interviews, even on Soul Train, people kept comparing her to Michael Jackson. Now, she has a successful independent her third solo album. And she's not under her father's management, and she's not, no association with her brothers. It's just the last name, and people just keep asking about Michael Jackson, so it kind of was agitating, annoying her. Now, as well as a successful album, people want more, so they was working on her next album. And in the studio, you could tell it was kind of friction. She was agitated with Jimmy Jam, and so in some of this recording sessions, she's frustrating, they laughing at her, and vice versa. So it's some type of friction going on between the producers and the artists, which is Jimmy Jam and Janet Jackson. So, just like brothers and sisters, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis was like Janet Jackson brothers. The two compromised in the studio, and they were making an album, Rhythm Nation. Rhythm Nation, yeah, they were making that album, and that was kind of not heard of at the time, where people was doing pop music and not talking about things that was happening, going on around the world, serious issues. And so she was recording that, and they didn't tell the record label what they was doing. They just, they was just going to do what they wanted to do. Now she wanted to know more about touring, so she went to on one of Michael Jackson's shows and saw all his fans, and she kind of was taking note, because they said she wanted to beat him, and I guess with this album or tour wise. So she was in kind of a little competitive mode. And I don't blame her, being a female act and, being their baby sister. She wanted to show the world that, she was a true competitor. She was a contender. Okay, now Janet Jackson goes on her first tour ever. And it's the biggest selling tour of a debut tour from an artist of all time. Still, she holds the record to this day. She won her first Grammy, and life is looking great for Janet Jackson. She is our own star. So, to sum up the first part of this documentary, it's about a beautiful, shy, innocent, sweet young girl that grew up with brothers that were very talented, and she was just as talented. She was their baby sister. She had a controlling father, but they really loved and cared for her. But she just wanted to a life of her own. She wanted to be her own star. She was young at a time. She had young love. She was young and innocent. She was very innocent. She learned from her first marriage, and then she got into a second marriage. Now she finding her own artistry as a solo artist, and just getting out of her brother's shadow, just being Miss Jackson. You feel me? So she's doing this, and she's on top of the world. Life is looking good. So let's see what tomorrow holds. It's your girl, Lola Loves You. I'll be back for another video. Please, y'all, thumbs this video up, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with another video. Bye.